Good evening. Our top story tonight, Michael Penix had his pro day with the Washington Huskies and absolutely tore it up. Michael Penix runs 4.5, coming off 2 ACL tears, who didn't run in college either. So Michael Penix is a surprising athlete at his pro day. He absolutely dominates. We also see Rome Odunn stand on his numbers. He is not going to perform or didn't perform at his pro day, and he doesn't need to. The Giants, well represented at the pro day. Everyone was at the pro day. Over 100 members of scouting organizations or talent evaluators or coaches, however you want to phrase it. Everyone was in Washington to see Michael Penix throw. So we've got that. We've got other news and notes, rumors across the NFL on Player Profiler Today. And so we will start things off with Michael Penix, the lefty for the Washington Huskies, transferred to Washington from Indiana. He was a member of the Hoosiers and had 2 ACL tears earlier in his career. Michael Penix is an older prospect because of the injuries and the medical red shirts that he ended up receiving. And even though he is not a mobile quarterback, or at least not a rushing quarterback, he's mobile within the pocket. He has good pocket awareness. Michael Penix, though, not a mover in the pocket. People wanted to see him moved off his point, getting him out of the pocket, throwing on the run or running. Just didn't really happen for Michael Penix, but now we know that he can do it. 4.53, 4.56 in that range for a 40. So when you adjust for a pro day, that's still 4.58, still 4.61. That is incredible for Michael Penix. He is a Jalen Hurts caliber of athlete who just never showed it at college because he didn't have to, because he trusted his arm so much with the Washington Huskies. So absolutely love to see it. And we're hearing from Jordan Schultz that Michael Penix very well could have played himself into the first round. At least that's according to one scout. Now, remember, the scouts don't make the decisions. This is just one individual's opinion, but the chatter is already starting. And we had heard the chatter in the past that there were 4 locks for the first round. It's obviously Caleb Williams going first. We're pretty sure it's Jaden Daniels going second. We're pretty sure it's either Drake May or JJ McCarthy third and fourth. And they're all going to be top 6 picks at worst. But we just kept hearing chatter, there could be a 5th quarterback. Bo Nix or Michael Penix could sneak into that first round. And with the performance Michael Penix had, it very well could be him. We've heard Michael Penix linked to the Seattle Seahawks, linked to the Las Vegas Raiders in the past. Could either of those teams move back into the first round, or could the Seahawks take their QB of the future late in the draft? The Raiders picking at 13. That feels a little high for Michael Penix, but it's the Raiders. They've always marched to the beat of their own drum. They've always done things just a little bit differently, even though it's an entirely new regime. Could happen for the Raiders, or they could end up trading back into the first round, selecting Michael Penix, or it could be another team. It could be a dark horse. Maybe the Giants trade back in, or maybe just none of this happens. Maybe this is all a big smokescreen and Michael Penix is going to be drafted in the second round like we thought all along. There is a long way to go at draft season, but before we get to more from the Washington Huskies, before we get to more on the NFL draft, we've got a word from the Podfather.
Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player. And you can compare their lifetime value rating from Player Profiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it. This episode is brought to you by Player Profiler, the Dynasty Deluxe package. The rankings are the best in the industry. It includes strategy mode where you can say, hey, change the rankings to be win now. Oh, change the rankings to be productive struggle. There's also a draft planner to help to strategize where you should take players because the draft planner also includes ADP. There's a trade finder where we look up on My Fantasy League and we see trades that are done, including a particular player. Then there's a trade analyzer where you can plug in draft picks, players, and we assign a lifetime value to draft picks out 5 years. The best thing about our trade analyzer, it can't be gamed with volume. And there's mock draft data to see right now what's the market for player X versus player Y, including in the fall when very few mock drafts are happening. And our Dynasty guide, the Dynasty Dominator, would cost you $10 on Amazon, but you get it for free with Dynasty Deluxe, and you get our rookie guide for free, a $25 value. So you get all of that for $45. I mean, it's a great deal.
We are back talking about Michael Penix and how dominant his pro day is. The fact that he could end up in the first round of the draft. We will see if that actually happens, though. But there will certainly be suitors for Michael Penix. The lefty will be a starting quarterback somewhere at some point. And we know his running mate, Rome Odunze, is going to be a starting wide receiver pretty much from day one. He is an elite receiver. He stands on his dominant performance at the combine, says, nah, I'm good running in the 4.4s and jumping out the gym. I will just chill. I will chill. And Rome Odunze has absolutely earned that right. And he did have an elite reception perception as well. Matt Harmon, one of the best talent evaluators, one of the best charters for the wide receiver position in the game right now. He charts the numbers for Rome Odunze, and they are just perfect. Green across the board, every route. He is a genius, a savant route runner at every single route. He's successful across the board. So Rome Odunze going to be going high in the draft, potentially to the New York Giants, because the New York Giants, we have heard, if they're not able to land one of the top 4 quarterbacks who they are interested in, probably not trading up for, but if one of them falls to number 6, maybe they could select one. But the Giants, if all those guys are gone, apparently they love Rome Odunze. We've got general manager Joe Shane in attendance, head coach Brian Dable, Mike Kafka, the offensive coordinator, the quarterback coach Shea Tierney, the wide receiver coach Mike Groh, the assistant general manager Brandon Brown, and the director of player personnel Tim McDonald. The Giants have 7 in attendance at the Washington Pro Day, the same day as the North Carolina Pro Day with Drake May. The Giants are sending everyone to go watch the Washington Huskies, while they do send people, of course, to watch Drake May at North Carolina, but they were much more interested in the Huskies, though they will be working out Drake May in private. The Giants will also reportedly be working out J.J. McCarthy this weekend on Easter Sunday. So the Giants are doing their homework on the quarterback position, meeting with Drake May, even though they were not in attendance for his pro day. Final Husky that we're raving about is Troy Fautanu, the left tackle. Some people think he's going to kick inside to guard at the NFL, but he is an elite athlete. I think even though he's a little bit smaller, he is going to be a successful left tackle in the NFL if he goes that path. And my opinion on tackle in the NFL is, unless the team doesn't have a need and you have to play guard early on and then transition, replace the veteran the next year, then you should be trying these college tackles that you know can be successful. You know, have the requisite athleticism to play tackle in the NFL. Try Troy Fautanu at tackle, and if it doesn't work out, kick him inside to guard, and you still have an elite player there as well. Troy Fautanu could go in the top 10 according to Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz very much pushing this Washington Huskies agenda. We'll keep our eyes on that. I'd say top 20 player for Troy Fautanu. Maybe falls outside the top 20 to 25-ish, but I think he's going to be going very high in the draft. Has met with the Jets, the Raiders, the Steelers, the Rams, and the Chargers after his pro day. And we mentioned earlier the North Carolina Pro Day for Drake May. We had the Commanders, the Patriots, and Broncos with massive contingents in attendance watching. For the Broncos, there was general manager George Payton, offensive coordinator Joe Lombardi, assistant coach offensive assistant, whatever you want to call him, Pete Carmichael, the former offensive coordinator for the New Orleans Saints, alongside Sean Payton, the QB coach Davis Webb, and the assistant general manager Darren Moogie as well. And the Commanders sent Adam Peters, the general manager, Dan Quinn, the head coach, and Cliff Kingsbury, the offensive coordinator, to go watch Drake May. And the question for the Commanders that we're starting to hear, and the one that really resonates why everyone thinks it's going to be Jaden Daniels to the Washington Commanders, is Dan Quinn, defensive head coach. And if you're Dan Quinn and you know defense, who would you rather defend against? Who is more terrifying to game plan for? Who would you rather be avoiding? And for the Commanders and what Jaden Daniels can do as a runner and a thrower, though Drake May no slouch himself, that is just another reason that people believe it's going to be Jaden Daniels going second overall to the Washington Commanders. But they are doing their homework. They are meeting with Drake May. They are in attendance at the Pro Day. And with all of this going on, we're hearing whispers that the Vikings and now the Raiders are aggressively looking to get into that top 3, top 4. We know the Raiders, Antonio Pierce loves Jaden Daniels, has loved him ever since high school, recruited him to Arizona State, clearly wants to coach him in the NFL. So the Vikings, we've heard time and time again, Vikings trading up, Vikings trading up, Vikings trading up. The Raiders could be a dark horse to end up making that move. Other pro days that we saw, Joe Milton was phenomenal at his. He's now visiting the Cleveland Browns, already met with the Raiders and Patriots at his pro day as well. And John Rice Plumlee, the UCF Central Florida quarterback, is working out with Trey Lance this summer, was in attendance. Trey Lance was in attendance at John Rice Plumlee's pro day as well. They've been spending time together, training together. Hopefully, we see Trey Lance at some point in the NFL, still back up for Dak Prescott, who's still looking for a contract. Other news and notes across the NFL. We've got Christian Watson visiting a hamstring specialist. The Green Bay Packers removed their entire strength and conditioning staff last season. Had a lot of success as strength and conditioning staff, but they just couldn't help Christian Watson get healthy over the past 2 years, couldn't help him stay healthy, with 5 different instances of him going down with a hamstring injury. There's something more going on. The Packers are looking in a new direction to try and keep Christian Watson healthy. So hopefully that does happen. Christian Watson, one of the most explosive playmakers in the NFL at the wide receiver position, one of the best athletes, period, in the NFL. Hopefully they're able to get past this and able to see a full season of Christian Watson dominating. We also, speaking of the Green Bay Packers, saw Josiah DeGuara, the former H-back / tight end / fullback that they drafted in the 3rd round of Cincinnati just a couple years ago, ends up moving on to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Josiah DeGuara was a surprising pick at the time. If you look at the rest of the options in that range, we also saw Dalton Keene, drafted by the New England Patriots, and a lot of other misses. So for Josiah DeGuara to eventually become a serviceable player who is seeing key reserve, because he's the tight end 2 / H-back / fullback, so he's definitely not a starter, not even always tight end 2, but to see even at that point in the draft with some of the players around him, Josiah DeGuara, not a complete bust for the Green Bay Packers, moves on to the Jacksonville Jaguars, will be playing there. Jaguars also signed Foye Oluokun, their linebacker, one of the best IDP players, gets a massive contract extension, 4 years, $45 million. That's over $11 million per season for Foye Oluokun, with $22.5 million guaranteed. So that's 2 years guaranteed on the contract for Foye Oluokun, one of the best linebackers, tackle makers, IDP players in the NFL right now. Foye Oluokun constantly leading the NFL in tackles. As for the running back position, we've got J.K. Dobbins meeting with the Los Angeles Chargers. Greg Roman, his former offensive coordinator, was with the Ravens when J.K. Dobbins was drafted, has seen plenty of success with Greg Roman, has seen success working with Gus Edwards in that backfield. So if J.K. Dobbins can get healthy, ooh, that would be fun. And just another sign that the Los Angeles Chargers are ready to run the football down your throat. Passing is going to be an afterthought. Poor Justin Herbert. Just so very disappointing. that his fantasy value is probably going to be taking a hit going forward. But J.K. Dobbins hopefully sees a resurgence with the Los Angeles Chargers. He's going to be taking some visits. If he doesn't sign with the Chargers, he's going to be moving around doing some physicals for different teams, unless the Chargers make him a deal that is worth his time. But we did see the Kansas City Chiefs offer a deal that was worth the time of Louis Rees-Zammit. And I apologize if I am butchering that pronunciation. Rugby star turned wide receiver / running back Louis Rees-Zammit. Again, I could be completely ruining that, but the former rugby star comes to the NFL, signs with the Kansas City Chiefs. He's wide receiver and running back. And it really sounds like he's going to be involved in the return game with the new return style of the NFL being more akin to rugby. And with all the trick plays we saw in the XFL on kick returns, all of the laterals, all of the fake handoffs, if you get a rugby guy who doesn't even have to turn around and look to lateral it in a perfect pass, that is a massive bonus. And year after year, Kansas City Chiefs are one of the best special teams units in the NFL. Now they just have another puzzle piece back there at returner. Love this signing. We have seen other rugby stars make the transition. Jordan Mailata, left tackle of the Philadelphia Eagles, former rugby star as well. Can't wait to see what happens there. And can't wait to see what happens with the New York Jets. Is there beef with Robert Saleh, the head coach, and Woody Johnson? Apparently there was a heated conversation at the owners meeting, but then both Robert Saleh and Woody Johnson come out and deny that it was a heated conversation, said it was just a regular old time. But it's the New York Jets, right? It is always drama season with the New York Jets, especially now that they have Aaron Rodgers. But even before that, it's the Jets. They are always in the spotlight. New York media just wants to talk about the Jets even more so than the New York Giants. Always has been, always will be. Now that you've got Aaron Rodgers and a team that needs to win in order to keep the jobs of Robert Saleh and general manager Joe Douglas, people are going to have their eyes on the Jets. Even a conversation that doesn't feel heated in the moment between those two individuals. That's just how they act. And New York media, they've got their eyes peeled. Speaking of New York media, they could see the return of Corey Davis. Corey Davis is in contact. The door is open for a return for Corey Davis. Corey Davis retired from the NFL last season at age 28, could make his return at age 29, former first-round draft pick with the Tennessee Titans, had some success later in his career there, had some success with the New York Jets as well before retiring. Once he finally got a real quarterback, poor Corey Davis. We'll be following that story as we continue throughout the offseason. But this will be my final episode of Player Profiler today. I am going to be taking some time to focus more on the career, more on the day-to-day work that I do at the funeral home that I am very, very passionate about and very excited to take this new step in my career. So I will be, unfortunately, no longer your host for Player Profiler today. It has been an absolute honor serving each and every one of you. It has been an honor getting to interact with so many amazing people, so many amazing fans out there chatting on a nightly basis. At one point when we were doing 7 days a week and you were there every step of the way. It was a beautiful time. Things change, life changes. And as time moves on, like we saw with Corey Davis, retires at age 28 from the NFL, sometimes you just need a change. And so I will be moving forward. You can still catch me on the Believe in Lions podcast talking about these Detroit Lions, but this will be my last show for Player Profiler today. I want to thank from the bottom of my heart, Matt Kelly. Matt Kelly is one of the sharpest minds, not just sharpest football minds, just sharpest minds that I have ever met. He is a brilliant individual and a fantastic, fantastic leader. You don't get to see all the behind the scenes stuff, all the conversations that Matt Kelly has with his staff, all the things that he does. But Matt Kelly, I cannot say enough good things about Matt Kelly and just the entire team at Player Profiler. Cody Carpentier is one of the key people that helped me on my way here, that helped me grow in this industry. Billy Muzio, Theo Greminger, just fantastic assets. Great, fantastic time working with each and every one of you, from Aaron Stewart to Jason Allwine to Maddie Keywoom to Bradley Stalder, it has been an honor working with each and every one of you. I won't be fully gone. I'll still be hanging around. I will be here from time to time, but it is time to step away from Player Profiler today. So one last time, thank you all so much. It was an honor, and I will see you soon.
From the Podfather to you, I deeply appreciate you tuning in. And many ask, what can I do? What can I do to help support the hosts, the research they do, the production costs? Go to playerprofiler.com. Dynasty Deluxe, World Famous Draft Kit, Rankings, DFS Dominator, and of course, data analysis. Subscribe to any one of those, and you support all of us and take Player Profiler to the moon.